Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Stern Agee. For more than a century, they have provided financial services to high net worth individuals, to businesses, to non-taxable institutions, and to regular Joes. So 140,000 clients across all 50 states, managing more than $17 billion in assets. Let me tell you, if you're looking for help with you planning your financial future, talk to the East Tennesseans that work right here, Stern Agee, Knoxville. It's a company that you can trust. It's people that will work with you one-on-one. Stern Agee. All right, back with Chuck, Bob, Jimmy. We'll start and go quickly through LSU here. After losing 11 early entrants to the NFL draft 2 years ago and another 7 early entrants this past spring, will all those early departures finally take a toll on the Tigers? At some point, do the chickens who left come home to roost?
Yeah, I think the chickens will come home to roost, and they'll just win like 9 ball games. I mean, that is an incredibly talented team. John Chavis has seemingly done a better job at LSU as defensive coordinator than he did at Tennessee. Part of that is because you never run out of players. I mean, even when Tennessee was good, they would have years when they run out of players. So, yeah, I think it'll take a toll, and they'll just win 9.
I think it'll take a toll, and I think they'll struggle to get to 9. They may, but you're breaking in a new quarterback. Mm-hmm. Who are the receivers? You don't have any.
That's right.
So when they were winning with this pedestrian offense with Jordan Jefferson, at least they had some receivers that could make some plays. Do they have really good running backs? Yes, they do. But do we have no threat in the passing game? People are going to stack the line, the good defenses,
that we know of,
and shut them down. Yeah, the ones the ones in the SEC. Yeah. I think they're going to start. And not only that, when you've lost that many on defense, now you've taken away your depth on defense. So you've lost 2 defensive tackles, one that went early and didn't get drafted. I think they're going to have trouble getting to 9. They may, but I think they're going to have trouble getting to 8.
Chuck? 9. Quickly, final.
I think you went 5-3 in the SEC last year. You could have a true freshman at quarterback this year. I have LSU at 8.5.
There you go.
Total wins.
And you had that written down before Jimmy said that. All right. Missouri's up next. The Tigers have lost quite a bit from their East Division championship team, including all 3 of those tall receivers that just tore Tennessee up last year. How special is sophomore quarterback Matty Mauck? When Gary Pinkel has a really good team, he tends to have a special, dynamic quarterback. How special is Matty Mauck? Is he good enough to carry this team through the loss of those receivers and prevent a fallback to another 5-7 type season for them?
I've got my doubts. I think he's a really good runner. Passing-wise, I thought he was a little bit erratic. I don't think his completion percentage was all that high. Then you take away his best receivers, you take away a 1,000-yard rusher. I'm not ready to put him there. And sometimes it's easier to come off the bench when not as much as expected. Now he's the guy. I'm not ready to put him in that special category.
Yeah, when he came off the bench, there wasn't a book on him. People didn't know what he could do. Plus, you lost a lot on your defense too. So I think Missouri's going to take a step back.
Okay, I'll just throw this in there about the completion percentage, about him being a little erratic. He made appearances in 12 games last year. In only 3 of them did he complete 50% of his passes. 9 times he didn't. Yeah. Chuck, over/under on their victory.
Mizzou, I would have it 9.
Wow.
I think that's a pretty good number for them, but there could be some struggles there. But they do have a couple of really good players on defense. It may be defense that carries them. That'd be a great game, Missouri here in Tennessee. That's the one Tennessee would need to win to get to a bowl game.
I'm going under on that one. We'll see, though. Okay. We'll see. All right, last one. Ole Miss is up next. Tennessee will travel to Oxford. The Rebels have had 2 good recruiting classes in a row. They've been to back-to-back bowls. They have one of the very few senior quarterbacks in the league. They play an up-tempo style that's just like Auburn. I want to know if Ole Miss can make a surprise run toward Atlanta. I'm not saying they get to Atlanta, but could they be a dark horse that's still competing in November? I think they can be.
I think they can be too, and I think it comes back to what we talked about the other 3 teams that they're most likely to be competing against. I mean, Alabama's question marks, LSU's lack of depth, and all the guys that they lost. I like Ole Miss to have a shot.
I do too. And I think they have a really good player in almost every unit. Linebacker, safety, on the defensive line, offensive line. They've got really good players in a lot of areas. I think they are a contender.
I think they're 1 year ahead of Tennessee. When Tennessee hired Butch Jones, we said, well, you hope he can follow the Hugh Freeze model. And it looks like he's doing that. Year 2, he's getting another good recruiting class, just like Freeze did. I think that Ole Miss is a year ahead of Tennessee, and there have been surprises in this league. People think, well, it's always the same. South Carolina made it to Atlanta a few years ago. Missouri last year.
Yep.
Nobody thought Texas A&M would be this good.
Year.
Auburn last year. Auburn in 2010 going from 8-5 to 14-0. You've seen surprises.
As long as they don't pop off about how many points they're going to score against Alabama,
Yeah.
they got a shot.
Bo Wallace, here's an interesting stat from SEC play last year. Teams that started the majority of their games with a senior went 34-14 in league play. Teams who didn't start a senior as the majority of their games, 22-42. Bo Wallace, senior quarterback, I think that helps Ole Miss. Your thoughts?
You would want to have Ole Miss even just a little bit more on the total wins, but knowing what Auburn, Alabama, even in that division, I think they could go above this, but I have them at 8.
I think that's fair. All right. When we come back, who's going to Atlanta? We're going to make predictions, and this was hard. I don't know if it was hard for everybody, but we're going to see who we like in the East and the West. Come on back on the Sports Source.